Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today I'm participating in the Longing for Fall collaboration hosted by my friends Dawn from Shabby Meets Bling and Monica from Up All Night DIY. In today's video, I'm going to be doing 3 Dollar Tree pumpkins. Let's get started on number 1. I'm taking these 2 pumpkin cutouts from the Dollar Tree and I'm going to place them together like so. But first, I cut off the stem of this one. It's really easy to do. I just drew a little line and then I took my X-Acto knife and cut through it. I had to just pass through it a few times and it snapped right off. And then of course I sanded it a little bit. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm taking my textured wallpaper that I've used before and I'm going to cover the big pumpkin all the way. And on the smaller pumpkin, I'm just going to do these 3 sections. All right, so I go ahead and have the big pumpkin cut out. Just going to take some Mod Podge to glue it down. It is pre-pasted wallpaper, and this is from Lowe's, but instead of waiting for it to dry, it's easier to use the Mod Podge. All right, now that that is on, I have to add just a little bit more. It did get off just a little bit. It's easy just to pull it off. Let's try to get it lined up again. Get it smoothed out a little bit. All right, and let me go ahead and get my pieces cut. Now, before I put them on, I want to take my melted chocolate paint here, and I have it watered down, and I'm going to paint all of this with the brown. I'm going to leave the raised sections alone because I'm going to be putting the wallpaper on there. And once this is done and dry, I'm going to go ahead and Mod Podge on the wallpaper. You just want to make sure that you get plenty of the Mod Podge on here if you're not going to use the pre-pasted wallpaper and wet it down. And it does stick to wood, because I've actually used a lot of these textured wallpapers on the sides of cabinets. With my beadboard one just to kind of dress it up, and it sticks. So let's go ahead and get the other 2 pieces on here real quick. And get the last one. With the wallpaper being white, you could leave it just like this because it does look kind of nice having that crisp white with the brown. But I don't want it pure white, so I will be painting it. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue this down, and I'm going to use my E6000, and I also use clamps on it. Now I did let this dry for a few hours, and I'm using my Waverly chalk paint in the plaster, and I'm just going to be painting the wallpaper with this, and I'll probably have to do 2 coats. All right, now that it's done, I am taking that melted chocolate and I have it on a damp piece of paper towel, and I'm just going to be spreading it on. I just want to have mine look a little more antique-y. All right, now that I have that done, I have these 2 leaf cutouts. I got these leaves off of Amazon, and I printed off this paper from Creative Fabrica, and I want to put some of this on the pumpkin and on the leaves. Now I'm going to use the leaves over here where all the lettering is. I'm going to get these Mod Podged on, and then I'll cut around it once it's dry. And I'm also using that other side of the paper that had the roses, and I'm just going to use a few sections of it on these pieces here to the left of the pumpkin. Let's go ahead and get this last piece on. I need need just a little bit more Mod Podge there. Okay, that looks really pretty like that. And the two leaves I am going to be placing kind of like this. I'll be gluing those on. Before I do that, I want to go ahead and make a messy bow here. Just going to cut a few pieces of this ribbon. And I'm going to scrunch it up. I'm going to take some wire and twist it around. Okay, I think it's going to go about right there. So let's go ahead and hot glue it down. Fan it out just a little bit. I also have some raffia that I'm just going to tie this together. Get it all scrunched up. And hot glue it right there. And I have some pieces from picks that I'm just going to go ahead and hot glue randomly. Let's go ahead and tuck this leaf over here. And a few more of these little berries. Let's cut a few more off. All right, and I like these little pine cone looking things. Let's go ahead and get that other leaf on here first. And then we'll go ahead and glue these down. All right, I just want to add a few more pieces here. I think I'm going to tuck this one right there. And I want to go ahead and put one of these little wood flowers on here. Just kind of dress it up a little bit. All right, here it is all done. I added a little bit more raffia on here, and I did add some jute so it will be able to hang it. And I want to show you this acorn that I did a while back because I think these coordinate really nicely. Now on to DIY number 2. This one is going to be super easy. You're just taking one of those styrofoam pumpkins. I have this Chanel ribbon or yarn that I got from Walmart a long time ago, and a real pumpkin stem. I'm just going to take my X-Acto knife and cut off this stem. A little more difficult than I thought. I also want to cut down a little bit more because once I start putting the yarn on, I need a little bit of space to glue my pumpkin stem on top of it. So I'm going to do this really super easy. I am just going to be taking the yarn and I'm just taking a pin, just a straight pin here, and I'm just going to push it into the styrofoam. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this around. I'm going to take another pin, pin that down. And I'm just sectioning this off first. I'm going to go ahead and stick a pin here at the bottom. I got little fuzzies on here. I forgot to clean off my table from when I used Spanish moss. I'm going to pin this one down here. Okay, we're going to section it off a little bit more. And keep pinning it down as you go. I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. So now I'm going to go ahead and work on my little sections at a time. I'm going to go ahead and get this finished up and we'll get ready for the stem. There, isn't that cute? It was so super easy to do. You can glue yours down if you want to. I just thought it'd be easy enough just to use the pins. Just trying to figure out where I want to put the stem. I'm going to push some of these pins down a little more. And I'm just going to be hot gluing it on. Just want to get lots of glue on here. Lots and lots of glue. A little bit more. And push it down. And I'm going to use some picks. I'm just going to tuck this in to the styrofoam. That's what I like about styrofoam. Don't have to do any hot gluing necessarily. Just going to stick this down in here. Spread it out. And I'm going to hot glue a few pieces on here. I'm going to try to, not too much on the yarn, just more on the stem and the other pick. And I want to go ahead and add a little bit of raffia on here. And tuck that piece right there. And I have another leaf that is on some wire, so I'm just going to push it down into the styrofoam, about right there. Okay. Let's kind of play with this raffia. And I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to hot glue that in right there. Get this raffia to cooperate with me. And I think I'm going to put that piece right there. Just trying to decide which way I like this better. Alright, let's go ahead and get the glue on it. And I'm just going to glue it to, I think that's a pomegranate, is what that's supposed to be. Just kind of glue it right there. Kind of on the pomegranate and the leaf. And then I got this little piece right here that I want to glue right on the other side there. All right, and that is all I'm going to do. I think this is so cute. And it is super easy to make. Oh, I forgot. I also have this little tag that I made that says sweater weather. And I'm just going to wrap it around the pomegranate there. All right. That moves things just a little bit. And there it is. Now for DIY number 3. I'm going to be using that pumpkin form, you know, the wreath form that you use like the mesh on it or ribbon, whatever. I'm going to be using a sweater. Now I found this sweater at the ARC thrift store for $5.99, and since it was senior day and the orange tags were half off, so I got it for $3. There was one I really wanted to have that was much chunkier. This is really thin, but it wasn't on sale and it was $10, and I just couldn't see cutting up a $10 sweater because it looked really nice and I could wear it. But this one isn't really my style, so I don't mind cutting up something for $3. Plus I can use the other side. So what I'm going to do is, you can see how this is. I'm kind of trying to line this up. I kind of got a chevron pattern going here. And I'm just going to be hot gluing the sweater to the wire. I'm going to try to stay with the pattern as much as possible here. Probably when you get to the sides you can't, but the front you can. I'm just going to go ahead and tack this down here. And then I'm going to continue on gluing the sweater down. Alright, I didn't show you that because it takes a very long time to do this, but I did cut it off. I did glue around the edges. Now I want to take my jute here, and I kind of want to cover some of this up because you can see the black of the wire through the sweater, which I don't really like showing too much of it. So I'm just going to carefully hot glue jute on the whole pumpkin here. I'm even going to do the outer part. And I think this will dress it up just a little bit. You know, I'm kind of liking this chevron pattern on the pumpkin. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and continue doing the rest of the pumpkin, and then I'm going to work on the stem. All right, so here it is all done. Now I need to do the stem. I'm just going to tie it off to one side. and then I'm gonna just tack it on the other side with some glue, hot glue there. And then I'm gonna start just wrapping it. And I'm not gonna worry about down at the bottom because it's gonna get covered. You know, we gotta add some embellishments to it. I think I'm gonna go ahead and tack down every few wraps. Kind of doesn't want to stay where I want it to. There we go. I'll go ahead and tack it right there. And I'm just going to continue to wrap it and tack it down, and I'm probably going to wrap it 2 times just to make it a little thicker looking. All right, now it's done. You can see that looks a lot thicker. I think this is so cute. I went down to the basement. I just happen to have a bin of some fall picks handy, and I just grabbed a few things that looked a little more neutral since I'm kind of doing some neutrals here. Just some more beiges, or not beiges, but creams and tans and browns. Now these are some burlap leaves that you can get at the Dollar Tree. I got these at the Dollar Tree. I'm going to go ahead and cut off the wire part, and I'm just going to be hot gluing these down. And I'm just going to glue here on these ridges only. Okay, like so. And then I'm going to do it to the other leaf over here. All right, now I'm also going to add a few more pieces here. I'm not going to use everything on these picks. Now this pick, I love these little curlies on here. I'm going to curl them up a little bit more, and I'm going to glue them up towards the stem, but I'll do that later. And I love these brownish colored leaves here that I want to go ahead and hot glue a couple of these on. And just go ahead and cut up these berries here. Get my pieces here ready to go. All right, let's go ahead and hot glue these down. It's going to glue down on the leaf here. Just tack it all on the leaf. And a little bit more right there. And we'll put this one over here. Just trying to figure out where I want it. All right, and let's go ahead and add some of these brown leaves. Yeah, I kind of like that one up there. Okay. Hold it down. And then I like these little flowers here. Let's cut 3 pieces, and I think I'm going to place them kind of like that. Just have to hot glue them down in this section. Turn them around a little bit. Right, I went ahead and added a few more details, as you can see off camera. And I'm going to add a few more. I like this wheat looking, this plastic wheat pick. Want a few pieces tucked in. You can see I did a brown feather over here, and I got some of these lighter colored leaves. I think I'll put that one about like that. How about some of these berries in the bow? You can see I made a little messy bow there with that other ribbon that I used before and my black and white striped. I think I want to use this pine cone here. And check these out. So if you cut them like this, it looks like a little pumpkin. You can make a little stem on it. Isn't that cute? And I like these little flowers too. So let's just cut these off at the top. Okay. Now I want to go ahead and add a little sign on here, this Hello Fall. I got this off of Creative Fabric. It was much bigger. I made it smaller. And I'm going to Mod Podge it on to this thin piece of cardboard just to make it a little thicker. And then I'm going to cut it out. Just the circle. I'm just going to have a circle part. Okay, I got it cut out. I'm going to go ahead and take my hole puncher, make a hole in it. And I will be adding some jute to that. And I'm just going to be Probably tucking it in about right here. All right, let's see how everything turned out. So I just kind of set everything here on my side table. I think these look so pretty. You know, just a little bit of a neutral color. There's a few pops of some orange in here, not too much. All right, my sweet friends, that's going to do it for the video today. I hope that you enjoyed it, and please be sure to check out everybody's videos. I have the playlist link down below in my description box, along with all the host channel links. I want to wish everybody a very wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.